Hello, everyone. This is Keith and
Glenda
Jowers, and we're co-founders of Dads for Life International Ministries. We're also family financial coaches. We do a lot of coaching with families regarding finances for the last 20-something years, I think. So we are so glad to be a part of International Day of Calm because, well, it seems like we don't need just one day to be calm. We need to practice being calm every day. I'm guilty of not being calm every single day in every situation, but we can definitely do that if we practice that enough, right?
learn to be calm, yes.
Especially in marriages, it definitely helps. But also in marriages, we have learned that through folks that we've coached over the last several years is that sometimes calmness can get out of hand, and when it comes to money fights in the families, and especially a lot to do with debt. And that's what we want to talk to you today about is just
calming the credit chaos.
That's right, calming that credit chaos, because no matter where you're at in the world, if you let debt get way above your income that you're bringing in, it can certainly cause some problems in a marriage, in a family, in a job situation. It can definitely cause some problems for you, can't it?
We get stressful, get upset. You can have fights. Money fights is a big thing with even if you have enough or you don't have enough is how you're using it. But especially with credit cards, because you're scared, you're upset. How am I going to pay it? Where's the money coming from? Just so many things that makes you get to a stress level of using cards that get out of control. It's been chaos out of control.
Well, I remember even back when we started that we had good jobs, but we were paying our bills every month. We just didn't realize how much debt we actually incurred. But we actually just sat down and started thinking about it and writing it down, and we came across a program which through Dave Ramsey's organization at RamseySolutions.com. You can find out more about that. But he just has some genuine ideas that could help us to try to put it back together. So we did, and we started teaching families, and we've been doing that for quite a while now.
Yep.
So
the biggest thing that we did, though, is we started using the B word.
Oh, yeah. The
big
budget.
B, the budget word.
You may not want to do a budget, but it is important to do a budget, whether you're in business or whether you're in your personal life as a single person or even definitely as a marriage. You really should consider doing that budget each and every month. We have been doing it for several years now, and it has seemed to work for us, hasn't it?
Yep, it does work if you work it.
That's right.
Only if you're determined to work it, too, because with debt, it's overwhelming, it's stressful, so you have to kind of like draw a line in the sand and say, okay, so we got to do something different going forward. Just take a deep breath and come up with a plan.
And breathe.
Breathe.
You have to breathe. When you take that deep breath, you have to say, okay, I've got myself in this situation, and now how do I get myself out of this situation?
Some of the things, too, is like credit card companies calling you, and you're not able to do everything that they want you to do because you're in over your head. That's very stressful as well. So at some point you do have to draw that line in the sand and say, okay, I've got to have a plan. What is my plan going to be? And then to help relieve the stress, you actually have to share that plan with the credit card companies, right?
Absolutely. You need to try to talk to the credit card companies and tell them the situation you're in. But if there's a minimum payment, you certainly need to try to make that. Now, that's not going to get you out of debt very, very quick, obviously, but you definitely need to take that minimum payment so you don't get further and further behind in that. So our number one tip is, I think, is that you sit down and write down a plan. First of all, you write down all your debts.
I was going to say, wait, one more point though. As Christians, our number one plan would be to first pray.
Oh yeah,
and ask God for help. Pray and ask God for help. Acknowledge it, and then ask God for help.
And this is definitely important for sure.
And then devise the plan.
Right, devise a plan. Ask God's help, because that's number one key in trying to get anything done. Really, is if we go to Him first instead of Him last, then we can get some things done. But I'd say try to make that minimum payment, but don't be late with that minimum payment, in fact, if you can, because when you're that one day late, that just kind of kind of puts you further in the hole, and it kind of backs you up to where they'll even charge you extra fees if you're 1 day late sometimes.
Oh, goodness. Sometimes there's more than that. I mean, I've seen in the past where 1 day late, you could get a $25 a day charge. That's ridiculous for a late payment. That's just
depending on the company, folks.
Yes.
That's that fine line, that stuff that, well, you don't want to read, right? That's the stuff that the attorneys make them put in there. But I tell you what, it is definitely got some hidden stuff in there that if we don't read it, when I haven't always read mine either, that you can find out that you can get farther behind if you're not careful. So
the number one is pray. Number two is devise a plan, and that plan is listing all your cards from
right. I would list all your cards, all your balances from the smallest to the largest. And people they've talked to us about it why don't we just pay off the bigger one because it has more balance to that because it has a larger interest, right?
Yeah.
But it's not really works that way. The plan that we've been following for years through Ramsey Solutions is simply that you list them all down, and you may be sitting down doing it, or I would recommend doing that because it's going to hit you hard if you've never done that, and you're going to see all the balances and everything that you have going out each and every month. And it's going to really hit you hard sometimes if you're not prepared for that. So you pay off that smallest one first, and then you would take that one and add it to the next one. You pay off that second one, then it would take it and add it to the third one.
Okay, so let me see. So if the first one was $25 a month and I pay that off, then that $25 plus whatever that next payment, if that one was $25, then that would be $50 a month, you're saying. So you just roll it over and double that payment.
That's good. Yes, that's right.
Or if the very first one to get you started, we always tell people, though, to do crazy things like have a garage sale. Sell things you don't need in your home anymore on Marketplace or Facebook Marketplace, other places that you can
right. And no matter what country
things.
You're in, you can find somebody that might be looking for something that you have. And if you haven't been using that in your house for a while, we did that too. And we're looking around now. We still do it from time to time. The stuff we haven't seen, or even if you've got something that you're just really not attached to anymore, it may not bring a lot of value, but it also helps, get that out of your house where, that you might make some money on it. But even if you don't, at least you're kind of decluttering a little bit. So, yeah. But, and also that just try to help anybody you can. Sometimes it helps actually when you know somebody that's in need and you have something and you haven't been able to sell it, it might do you good just to give it away. That'll cause you some calmness simply because it helps, that person. And when you give to somebody else, you're going a lot further sometimes for your future. Simply by you're planting a seed to help somebody, yep. And down the road, you will be blessed for that. I can assure you that. I've seen that happen too many times.
Okay, so after we've made this list from the smallest to the largest, and you see where you are, the next thing is to stop spending. That's hard, but stop.
Got to stop spending?
Stop spending using the credit card. Stop spending. You got to make a decision to not spend, and that's more than just a head decision. It's got to be a heart decision too. Head and heart's got to work together for you to say, I am mad. I am not doing this anymore. I've got to get calm and peace to my life.
Yeah, and sometimes we've run into couples that say, "Well, I deserve this." Well, if you're going further and further in debt, do you really deserve it, or you just want it? And there is a difference between actually needing things in your home and actually wanting things in your life. I mean, it's so important to try to make sure that all of your needs are met first. And you certainly have to stop using anything to put you further in debt if you possibly can, because simply, even if you don't do that, you're going to look back one day and say, "Man, I shouldn't have done that because it just put me further and further behind."
But a lot of us don't like the word no, but that works. No works because even if you're talking to your family, to your husband and wife talking together, just make a decision, say, no, we can't do that anymore. We've got to wait and plan for that or save for that rather than just using the credit card all of a sudden. And a lot of the things, too, I found out through us talking to other people is that people use credit cards for an emergency because they don't have the money saved up. You want to talk about that just for a second, about not using the credit cards for an emergency?
Yeah, You really need to start planning, if you can, just to stop using, like, people say, oh, I keep a credit card for emergencies. Well, how many emergencies can we really have, right? I mean, so just because your kids grow a little bit over the summer and you need new clothes, is that really an emergency or just a failure that we didn't plan properly? So you can actually put that in your budget each month to put a little bit of money towards that coming summer clothes buying, even if it's $10 or $15 a paycheck or something that you can put away. That's what we've done. We've created little budget areas that we can put money aside each month, like for annual expenses, whatever they may be, for wherever you're at in the world that you have that come up each and every year. So you might want to put money towards that. Well, the same thing with clothes for your kids or anything that you're having to do annually, is just put a little bit of money towards that. It just helps create a little calmness. So because if you're in debt, and let's say you have a couple of $100 left on the balance that you can use on your card, and all of a sudden an emergency comes up and you haven't been saving all year, you take that card and spend that $200. Well, you've just doubled pretty much your interest there for the remaining time that you have that open, because that's just going to add more and more interest to your balance, basically.
Well, a lot of people are familiar with saving for Christmas, because they have those Christmas clubs at your bank and your credit union. People do that, save for Christmas. So the same thing applies to anything else in our life. Apply that to saving for those new shoes, saving for those clothing, whatever, putting the money aside all the time, every month, so that when it's time, you have the money.
It's if you do anything different from this whole International Day of Calm to calm your life, then you're making progress.
Yes.
If you stop spending one thing or one card that you have on everything that you're using just because you have no other money and you just got to feel like you got to go out and spend, then you're just putting you further in debt, and down the road you're going to be a little bit not calm because you're having
make the chaos worse.
because you're going to make that chaos a little worse.
Yes. And to get the calm, we have to walk through the deep sometimes to get to the place where you can finally get calm, because you got to walk through a plan, walk through a process to get there.
So we want to create that budget each and every month, and helping to pay off your credits. That is the part that is going to take some time. But we have helped many people do that, and we're open to trying to get you going in the right direction. So when you see this, you can go to our website, dadsforlife.com, and then you can actually go there and see there's a little financial area there.
It's called the Edge.
It's called the Edge, our Edge section. We don't want you to fall off the edge with your finances. We want you to sharpen that edge on how you use your finances.
But there will be some free downloads there as well.
There will be some free downloads there for you too. So if you just go to Dads for Life and then .com and then / the Edge, you should be able to pick those up. So
okay, one other thing we talked about the credit cards. Our friend Dave Ramsey says, other than stop using the credit cards, he says stop eating out. Stop taking vacations. Don't put the vacation on the credit card. Stop buying houses and new cars. I mean, those are things that we can stop doing. That's why I said it's hard to hear the word no. But if you want peace and calm, you got to say no long enough to stop doing some things.
You do. And if you do that, you're going to find that you have more calm in your own life, but you're also going to have more calmness in your family and then those around you. And just think about that. The more calm that you are in your life or at your job, somebody's going to see that differently and say, well, how do you remain so calm? Mm-hmm. Well, because I participated in the International Day of Calm with Celia Kibler and learned from all these people who's helped me to be calm. But no, it's just mainly is that you have learned how to control certain areas of your life.
Well, that finances even rolls over into your children and how your children react in your house, even if there's peace and calm in your home, because if there's yelling and screaming about money, that doesn't create calmness or peace in the home. So there's chaos even when the kids aren't taught properly.
I remember when I was young and I would would ask my mom for maybe a 15 cent to get an ice cream because the guy was coming up the road. I could hear the bell ringing that he was selling ice cream. It was like 15 cents. Yeah, 15 cents. Yeah, so I'm older. And 15 cents or a quarter. Okay. Well, now I was listening to a kid just ask for $10. I'm going, what kind of ice cream are you buying for $10, right? So, but regardless, it just seems like things have changed a lot. But just because they've changed a lot doesn't mean you have to say yes more.
Exactly. But when we teach our kids know about money, we're really helping them with their future too, so they can be calm and understand how to use money and not understand just because we want it that we get it right away. So saying no and teaching our kids even, okay, if they want something, well, we can't get that right now, but what can we do to plan for that? How can we save this money? What can you do to earn some money to get what you want? So we're teaching them some values too if we learn how to keep calm and peace in the family and teach our kids about how to use the money.
That's true. And when our daughter was 16 years old, we did open up her little savings account and a checking account, and we taught her how to do that. And then we sat down, we were paying the bills one night. I remember having her at the table and I was showing her what a light bill costs. And this is why I ask you to turn off your lights when you come out of the room, right? And just come here and sit down and watch TV. Does she do it every time? No. But when she got her roommates at her first apartment, and she would tell me that, oh, Dad, she just leaves the lights on all the time. I said, really? So the thing is that we have to teach our children how to balance their life as well and teach them calmness. I worked in schools for 20 years in my 30-year career, and I could tell you that I really saw a lot of kids lose their calmness a lot simply because they didn't know how to react to something. Well, if we teach our children how to react to things in life, don't let them watch all the negative on the news because a lot of it's lies anyway. But when you let them watch the news and let them feed themselves all the time, and you're not giving them anything to think about that's giving them peace or calmness, then it can really help them. It can hurt them more than it can help them, is what I was trying to say. So teach them how to be calm by you learning calm, parents.
Yes.
And I tell you, it would definitely help you and your children and your family a lot. But when it comes to credit, it's a process. You can't fix it overnight. You're not going to fix it overnight. A little bit at a time.
Devise a plan and stay with the plan, and that will give you the calmness. Devise a plan and stay with the plan.
Yeah. What she said, because it definitely works.
And don't continue to beat yourself up about where you are or how bad it is. Devise a plan and stay with the plan. That's the only way to it was baby steps out. Baby steps out.
And we've all done stupid things with money.
Yes.
It don't matter who you are. You've done stupid things with money. And I tell you what, when you do that, sometimes you can learn, and sometimes it takes you a lot longer to learn, and sometimes it takes you a while to learn it. And when you get older, you definitely need to learn it. Because no government's going to take care of you. Like they say, you want to be able to help take care of yourself. And others. That's right. And others. The biggest part about this is that when you learn to deal with calmness in your credit or your money, or calmness in any other area of your life, when you learn to deal with that, it makes you a better person.
Yes.
And I can tell you that the people that have spent time in helping put all this together with Celia, so all these folks out here that have taken this day, just a special day, to talk about being calm in all these areas of your life is very important. But it's not just one day, it's every day of your life. But it's one day to get you thinking in the right direction. And that's what we've done to try to do, is get you think about calmness in your money or your dealing with your credit and trying to calm that chaos, because it can really be chaotic at times if you're not careful, and you can lose control in other areas as well. Glenda?
But it's more than just one day. When you make that decision that I'm tired of this credit chaos, then you've got to devise that plan. And next week on this same time, still we'll be working that plan and not just give up and say, oh, it's hopeless. Because if I want to have calm and peace, overall peace about this, then I've got to keep working the plan.
It's like anything else. If you want to get closer to God, is read more of the Word and pray more, right? And worship more. If you want to lose weight, you just you start doing something towards that, and you get on a plan. All right. So it doesn't matter what you're doing that you're creating all this chaos in your life. You can change it. If you do something 21 days in a row, you can really take that habit and change it completely around to being a good habit. So you want to take the habit of spending money and try to learn how to save more money and spend less, because tomorrow is going to come whether you spent money or not. So it's how you react to that that's going to make you the person that day that's going to be remaining calm, because you made a decision one way or the other.
Yep. Credit can be awfully chaotic, but breathe from this moment on and say, okay, I'm going to come up with a plan, or I'm going to ask somebody else to help me devise a plan, and then work with that person to get that plan implemented and going, and maybe even a coach to make you stay on track.
All of these folks here throughout this day have a way to help you continue on your journey. You can contact us through dadsforlife.com. It's right there at the bottom of your screen. And if you want to learn more about the Edge, you can go to our website and learn more about that, and we'll be glad to talk to you further about that as well. So we want to thank you for spending time with us today, talking about your credit chaos. And if you're not in credit chaos, don't get there. Okay?
That's for sure.
If you are, there's a way out.
Yes, and it's not just credit. Any kind of chaos, there's a way out.
That's right. Yeah. And if you get your way out, if you find your way out to the end, help somebody else find their way out as well. Yes. Because together we can all remain calm. May God bless you all.